It's been 2 weeks since Ironman 70.3 Mont Tremblant, and I've got 2 weeks till the Canadian Champs. So the week after the race, I took a few days pretty easy, then jumped back into training, got my body ready for what was going to be the hardest training block of this chunk of the year. So I trained pretty good for another 4 or 5 days, then headed out here to Castle Rock, Colorado after about a week. So been here for a week. The first few days were definitely pretty tough to get used to the elevation. We're up here at about 1,880 meters above sea level, so it's a bit of a shock to the system. Third day was really tough. After the fourth day, I started to feel pretty good training with Matt. I was able to kind of just barely hang on the first few days, and then once the fourth or fifth day came around, we started working together a little bit more. I was able to push it a bit more on the bike and in the swim and in the run. So started feeling pretty good. Finished up 3 hard days in a row, and now I'm on a recovery day, but I'll still have about 4 more hard days coming up. So some of those key workouts are going to be a open water swim followed by a bike, which we also did last week. So for that, last week I wasn't even able to stay on Matt's feet yet because that was day 2 or 3, but this time we should be able to work together and kind of go back and forth. On the bike, we've been doing some longer efforts at sort of Ironman pace in the first training week. In the second week, I'll be going more into some Ironman 70.3 or the PTO Canadian Champs distance specific intervals, so targeting that kind of 85 to 90% FTP type effort. And in the swim, doing a lot of a mix of sort of some high-end intervals to get ready for that start speed, but also some more threshold intervals to kind of be ready for that mid-race pace. The run training has definitely been really challenging because it's been extremely hot, and then when you add that in with the altitude, it's just been a recipe for a super high heart rate and having to drink a ton of fluids just to be able to stay on top of it. So I was able to get some long runs and some hard runs in, stashing bottles or having Dale follow me, which was super nice. So the run training last week, lots of longer kind of steady type running and moderate running. It's the second week, or the kind of the last hard week before Canadian Champs, I'll be doing some more specific intervals to prepare for that race, kind of at that hopefully 3:15 per kilometer type pace. And if I can sustain that at altitude, once I go down to sea level, it'll definitely be a lot easier. I'll be able to breathe easier, and I'll just have that extra little bit I need to compete with those guys. So some people might be wondering, why would I come to altitude so close to a race? Some people say you need 4 or 5 weeks to be able to adapt to altitude training. Well, I did 3 altitude camps last year that were all between 11 and 14 days. And after every single one, I had a fantastic race. So for me, I know I'm able to get a pretty good benefit off of a relatively short camp. This one is 15 nights, so that's more than enough for me to get a good benefit from it. Not only that, but Edmonton is at a little bit of elevation, nothing significant, only like 2,000 feet. But this climate here is kind of more an extreme version than the Edmonton climate. It's hotter, higher elevation, both are pretty dry. So it's just a great way to prepare for the conditions by just going to a little bit of a harsher conditions, but similar, and then going to the race and kind of being like, okay, I can handle this if I can handle the heat and the altitude from Castle Rock. So the timing's perfect for me, and the 15 days is a great time frame. So we'll see how it works out. It's been awesome training with Matt. He pushes me pretty hard. He's a really strong athlete, and he's used to the elevation, so that always makes it a bit hard on me. And he's been super great to host me, and I really appreciate him and Ashley's hospitality here. So I'll return the favor for them anytime they want to come and train in Guelph, but I don't know if there's much for them there. But I can't wait to see how the race goes. I think Matt's gonna have a good day. Hopefully I have a better one. And thanks for the support, thanks for following. Canadian Champs is coming up. Tune in, watch. That's gonna be my biggest race of the first chunk of the year, so really hoping for a solid day there.